Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Getting ready to take on your lawn? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, right now, save on select gas tools starting at just $149.99. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com.
Dave just talked about wanting to get Daniel into this week's preseason game. What are you looking from him? Obviously, he's coming off a big injury, but is it more just getting him experience, back in games, or is it looking for a specific thing, in regards to performance?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think just getting Daniel in the mix with all 11 guys and the groupings and kind of that first group in there, just to kind of get a feel for everybody, whether it's the O-line, the receivers, and just continue to work together. We've worked well all camp, and so this is just another opportunity in the preseason to get it kind of with live bullets.
What, as a former quarterback, what are the challenges to a guy getting back in there in a real game for the first time in a while? You know what I mean? Is it just speed? Is it intensity? Is it the first hit? The vision? What is it?
Well, I mean, DJ specifically, he's played a lot of football. He's a veteran guy, so it's nothing about that part of it. It's more just just the group, our offense, kind of getting together and working together, communicating, all the things that we've been stressing all offseason.
What have you seen from him out here? I mean, to us, he looks good, but you know more about it. I mean, what is your impression of what you've seen? He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job. Each day he's just getting a little bit better. I think those are things that we've talked about. Whether it's his footwork, whether it's his progression, whether it's just communicating with the O-line and kind of getting that feedback as well. So he's part of it. He's 1/11th of that group, but he's a big part of that, and I think he's doing a really nice job.
The accuracy is something, my impression, early in camp maybe you see more inaccurate throws from him than usual. Is that something maybe you have to, get confidence in your leg, or you're working on things there, or is that just early in camp that kind of happens? I don't have the exact numbers of what the beginning of camp was versus the end of camp, but I think it's just a lot of getting used to the timing of the guys that are on the field, and you're tying in your feet, tying in the protection. So it's there's a lot of things that kind of go into it, and from a fundamental standpoint, whether it's receiver route depth, the area of the space in the field where they got to attack, whether it's the offensive line, whether if there's push or there's not push, it's the footwork of the quarterback, what type of drop are you taking, 3-step drop, a quick three, a big three, so like all those things got to tie in and match up for a pass to be effective, right? So we stress it, we look at it, we evaluate it, we talk about those things in depth, and whenever we can improve on those things, we try to enact on it, and then we work on it in an individual, in a group setting, and then in a team setting. So it's kind of a nonstop process to get those type of plays off, and those are things that we talk about on every single play, whether it's a run, pass, play action, screen, like all those details are just super important.
Mike, you seem to be working Theo Johnson in more and more. Talk about his progress and how he's starting to grasp what you're looking to do. Yeah,
Theo's a rookie, and he's right on schedule with where he's at in his development. He was one of those guys that kind of started a little bit later in training camp, just getting back from the injury. But he's doing a really nice job. I'm happy. I'm excited about him. Going to keep him, insert him into the offense, and continue to find ways to get him involved.
Along those lines, season here, what strides would you like Bellinger to make in year 3?
So Belly is one of those kind of guys that kind of does it all in the pass game, in the run game. He's continuing to develop and grow. He's getting stronger. You saw that leap from year 1 to year 2, and you can see his confidence in year 3 of just being in the same system for 3 years. So, I mean, that's going to pay dividends for him. And again, I'm excited about him because he's one of those guys that's, I see and I visualize as a leader of that group. So whether he's on the field or he's off the field, he's one of those great teammates that you can rely on.
Does Eric Gray look like he's a different football player than a year ago?
He does. As a young player, as a rookie, you're trying to find your way. And this is the kind of the process that a lot of young players go through, and some are faster than others. But Eric's having a good camp. He's certainly really confident right now in his running, his pass pro, his routes, and that was an aspect of his game that we saw at Oklahoma. When we drafted him. So, he's just continued to grow and continue to develop. And he's a bright young player that we're excited about.
You were in Kansas City. You obviously had like a number one receiver, game-breaking type player. What does that do for an offense, and how does that challenge the defense when you have a guy like that?
Yeah, anytime you can get those matchups, that's what this league's about, is getting the right matchups. One of your better players and one of their lesser players. So wherever you can formulate that, and really the position you're talking about, receiver, it could be a tight end, it could be a running back, it could be a formation that creates those mismatches. So that's what this game's about. This is what this league's about. It's a personnel league. And then as coaches, you look at those players and you put them in the spots, and then you create the seams and you get creative with how you can get those guys the football.
How intrigued are you to see Malik possibly, get an opportunity to go up against a guy like Sauce Gardner next week to kind of, give him that experience or see how he kind of stacks up in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a little bit further in the future here, but we're excited about Houston. They got a talented group. Stingley's one of those premier corners that we got to look at, and I think it'll be a good matchup all around. They're a really good defense with a lot of production.
Mike, there used to be a school of thought that it was hard for rookie wide receivers to come in and make a big impact. The change from college to NFL. Not necessarily about Malik now, but in general, do you think it is easier for these young guys to make the transition, and if so, why?
I don't know if I would say it's easier. I would just say each player has its own way of growing within that team, within that system. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and I really believe in our development plan with Dabes, myself, and in the receiver group, Coach Groh and Cade. Those guys do a great job of really kind of breaking it down for the young players to make sure they understand the rules, their assignments, and they can go and execute them. That's probably as important as anything when you look at each team and each young player. Is you got to see how that development plan is built up.
Mike, people attack the running back and the run game differently around the league now. You see different teams want to take different approaches. For you and what you guys have now, the advantages you look for at receiver, can you look for those advantages with different styles in a run game situation where you have these guys who seemingly all bring something different to the table?
As far as like a scheme or per
yeah,
player?
both a scheme and player, just the idea of how it matches up on a week-to-week basis. A lot different than maybe what you had last year in terms of having that one player who you knew was really going to be the bell cow.
Yeah, and I think as we've grown as an offense from year one to year two, in year one we're kind of working through that with the people we had on offense. Year two kind of similar, right? And then we had to deal with some injuries. So we've been able to kind of work through it as a staff, things that we really like and we can get to quickly. So going into year three, we feel confident, enough to continue to add things to guys' plates as they're more familiar with the offense, find things in the defense that we can get to and understand a little bit more about our players and what their strengths are and get to those things faster.
I don't know how good your crystal ball is, but how long will it take JMS and Evan to ramp up to getting into the game? Yeah,
I'd probably lean on Dabes on the actual timeline of that, but I know they're working their tail off in the training room and they want to be out there.
With Runyon now being on that left side, now next to Andrew Thomas, at least more, it seems like that's the way you guys are headed. From an offensive standpoint, does that change or make you lean one way when you in regards to play calling? Those might be our two best offensive linemen over there. Let's try to lean on them and run behind them more. How do you view that when that's the situation?
That's a good question. Yeah, you definitely have to take that into account, I think, when you're building the plan. But if you want to be multiple, you can't just do that every snap, So you think about it, you certainly talk about what schemes do our players handle the best, whether it's a double team on the left side, whether it's a gap scheme on the right side, for example. Those are things that we talk about a lot of, and when if you need to get to that in game, then we can, and it's all about just understanding our players' strengths and weaknesses.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Getting ready to take on your lawn? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, right now save on select gas tools starting at just $149.99. Real Steel. Find yours at SteelDealers.com.